Imagine standing in ancient Jerusalem. The year is 30 AD. The sun beats down on the bustling city streets. Crowds of pilgrims fill the courtyards of the magnificent temple. It is a place of prayer. It is a place of sacrifice. It is a place of immense spiritual importance. But look up. Looming over the sacred northern corner of the Temple Mount is a structure of immense power. It is a fortress. Its stone walls are high and imposing. Its towers reach towards the sky. They cast a long shadow over the holy site below. This is the fortress Antonia. It is a symbol of control, a constant reminder of Roman authority in a city that often chafed under its rule. This fortress was not just a collection of stone and mortar. It was a living, breathing part of Jerusalem's daily drama. It was home to soldiers far from their native lands. It was a place of command. It was a place of vigilance. It was a place of punishment. From its battlements, Roman sentries could watch every movement in the temple courts. They could see the priests performing their rituals. They could hear the sounds of worship and the clamor of the crowds. This proximity was no accident. The fortress was designed to be an ever-present eye, a tool to maintain order in one of the most volatile cities of the Roman Empire. Its story is the story of Jerusalem itself during this fateful period. The name Antonia echoes a tale of political ambition and Roman power struggles. It was named by Herod the Great, the client king of Judea. He named it in honor of his patron, Mark Antony. This was a shrewd political move. It linked his rule directly to the might of Rome. Though Antony would later fall from power, the fortress remained. It became a permanent fixture in the city's landscape. It served as a royal palace. It served as a barracks. It served as a prison. Its history is intertwined with kings, with governors, with rebels, with apostles. It witnessed moments of peace. But more often, it stood at the epicenter of conflict and uprising. Our journey will take us inside these formidable walls. We will explore what this fortress was truly like. How big was it? How many soldiers lived within its confines? What was their daily life filled with? We will peel back the layers of time to understand its saga. We will trace its story from its ambitious construction by a paranoid king to its violent destruction in the fires of a great rebellion. This is not just a story about a building. It's about the people who lived there, the people who served there, the people who were imprisoned there. It is a story of power, a story of faith, a story of the clash of civilizations in the heart of the holy city. Fortress Antonia was built for one primary reason: control. Its location was a stroke of strategic genius, or perhaps strategic paranoia. It was positioned at the northwest corner of the enormous Temple Mount platform. This gave it a commanding view of the most important and often most crowded area in all of Judea. From its towers, soldiers could respond almost instantly to any disturbance in the temple courtyards. During major Jewish festivals like Passover, the city's population would swell with pilgrims. Tensions often ran high. The fortress acted as a stone sentinel, a constant and intimidating presence meant to deter any thoughts of rebellion before they could even begin. The design of the fortress was meant to impress and intimidate. The ancient historian Josephus, who saw it with his own eyes, described it in detail. He tells us it was built on a rock 50 cubits high. He speaks of 4 prominent towers at its corners. One tower at the southeast corner was even taller than the others. The fortress was said to resemble a palace with courtyards, rooms, and bathhouses. It was a self-contained world of Roman military life, placed right on the doorstep of Judaism's holiest site. This was a deliberate statement of who held the ultimate power in Jerusalem. Think about the scale of this structure. While modern archaeology debates its exact size, ancient accounts suggest it was massive. It had to be large enough to house a significant military force, barracks for hundreds of soldiers, stables for horses, armories for weapons, and storerooms for grain and water. This wasn't just a small watchtower, it was a major garrison. In a city prone to sieges, the ability to hold out was crucial. The role of Antonia evolved over time. Initially built by Herod the Great, it served as one of his royal residences and a barracks for his personal guards. After his death, when Judea came under direct Roman administration, the fortress became the primary headquarters for the Roman garrison in Jerusalem. It was from here that Roman governors like Pontius Pilate would have overseen the city. It was the nerve center of Roman military and administrative power. Its story is therefore central to understanding the volatile relationship between the Roman occupiers and the Jewish population they ruled. The saga of Fortress Antonia is bookended by its construction and its destruction. It was born from the mind of a king desperate to secure his throne and his city. Herod the Great, a master builder, erected the fortress on foundations of an earlier structure. He poured vast resources to make it a symbol of his power and of his allegiance to Rome. He understood. Controlling the temple meant controlling Jerusalem. Antonia was his solution, a magnificent, menacing testament to his reign. A palace fortress that protected him and his Roman patrons from the people he ruled. A golden cage for the city's spirit. It was also a place of judgment and confinement. The Apostle Paul was famously taken here after being arrested in the temple courts. He was held and interrogated within its walls, his presence sparking a near riot. This was a common function of the fort, not just a barracks, but a high-security prison and a judicial center. The final act in Antonia's story was incredible violence. In 66 AD, when the Great Jewish Revolt broke out, the fortress became a primary rebel target. It represented what they fought against: foreign domination, military occupation, and the desecration of their holy city. The battle for Antonia was fierce and bloody. Against all odds, Jewish rebels captured the fortress from its Roman garrison, a huge symbolic victory. For a brief time, the shadow lifted from the temple. The stone sentinel had fallen to those it watched, but the victory was short-lived. 4 years later, in 70 AD, Roman legions under Titus returned to reconquer Jerusalem. They laid siege in one of history's most brutal campaigns. Antonia became the focal point of the Roman assault on the Temple Mount. After weeks of desperate fighting, using siege ramps and battering rams, the Romans stormed the fortress. They fought through halls and courtyards, using Antonia as a stepping stone to attack and destroy the temple. In the end, the fortress was utterly demolished, its stones pulled down and its memory buried. A violent end for a structure born of power and conflict. The garrison in Fortress Antonia was not the famous legionaries, but typically an auxiliary cohort, soldiers recruited from the empire's non-citizen peoples. They might have been Syrians, Samaritans, Gauls, or Thracians. They signed up for a 25-year term of service. The ultimate prize? Roman citizenship for them and their descendants on honorable discharge. Using non-local auxiliaries was deliberate Roman strategy. A Syrian soldier in Jerusalem would feel little kinship with Jewish residents. The Antonia unit was likely a cohors equitata, mixed infantry and cavalry, typically about 600 men. The cohort commander was a Roman citizen of equestrian rank. He answered directly to the Roman governor. The day for a Roman auxiliary and fortress, Antonia, began before sunrise. Life in a Roman garrison was dictated by a strict and unvarying routine. After a quick and simple breakfast, the soldiers would assemble in the main courtyard for the morning roll call. The new guards would march to their posts, a display of military precision intended to be seen by anyone watching from the city below. The midday meal was the main meal of the day. This communal meal was a vital part of building unit cohesion, a time for the men to talk, gamble, and complain. The afternoon would be filled with more duties and, crucially, training. Even in a garrison posting far from a major war front, constant drill was the hallmark of the Roman army. In the evening, soldiers would have had a few hours to themselves. Dice games were endemic in the Roman army, a welcome diversion. The most critical and sensitive duty for the soldiers in Fortress Antonia was guarding the Temple Mount. From the southeastern tower, Roman sentries had an unparalleled bird's-eye view. During the great religious festivals, the garrison would be on high alert. They stood in full armor, a menacing presence intended to intimidate the crowds. For the individual soldier on guard duty, it must have been a strange and alienating experience. He would stand for hours, watching elaborate religious rituals he did not understand. If a disturbance did break out, the sentries on the walls would give the alarm. The commander could then deploy hundreds of heavily armed soldiers directly into the temple courts within minutes. An unstoppable force of Roman military might descending upon the holy site. One of the most famous accounts of an arrest leading to Fortress Antonia is that of the Apostle Paul. He was falsely accused by a hostile crowd of a grave offense, bringing a Gentile into the sacred inner courts. The commotion was exactly the kind of disturbance the Roman garrison in Antonia was stationed to prevent. The Roman tribune in command, Claudius Lysias, acted swiftly. The mob, seeing the soldiers charging, ceased beating Paul. The soldiers seized Paul, the tribune, ordered him bound with 2 chains. He commanded his soldiers to carry Paul up the stairs and into the safety of Fortress Antonia. The mob surged after them, screaming for Paul's death. Once inside, the tribune resorted to a standard Roman method of interrogation: examination by scourging.
Is it lawful for you to scourge a man who is a Roman and uncondemned? It was at this critical moment that the situation changed dramatically.
To scourge a Roman citizen without a formal trial was a serious crime. The tribune's entire approach to the prisoner had to be re-evaluated instantly.
Tell me, are you a Roman? Yes. With a large sum I obtained this citizenship, but I was born a citizen.
The tribune was now in a perilous position. He had illegally bound a Roman citizen and was about to have him illegally scourged. The tribune's attempt to clarify the situation had failed spectacularly. He was no closer to understanding the charges, and now he was certain that Paul's life was in grave danger. A group of more than 40 men formed a conspiracy to ambush and kill Paul. This deadly plot reached the ears of Paul's own nephew. The tribune, understanding the extreme danger, made a decisive command decision. Paul had to be removed from Jerusalem immediately. That very night, the tribune organized a massive military escort, almost half the fortress's entire garrison, tasked with getting one prisoner safely out of the city. At 9 o'clock at night, the escort departed from Fortress Antonia. The fortress had served as his cage, his shield, and ultimately the launch point for his escape. After its complete demolition by Titus's legions in 70 AD, Fortress Antonia effectively vanished, its memory preserved only in the texts of historians like Josephus. For centuries, its exact location and size remained a matter of speculation. Christian pilgrims identified a site at the beginning of the Via Dolorosa as the location of Pilate's Praetorium, equated with Antonia. Excavations revealed a large, ancient, grooved stone pavement. For a long time, this was believed to be direct evidence of Fortress Antonia. Modern archaeology has challenged this view. Scholarship now suggests the pavement is part of a public square, built by Emperor Hadrian. Many archaeologists argue Antonia was much smaller. There is no definitive ruin to see. All that remains is the towering rock scarp at the northwestern corner of the Temple Mount. So why does the story of this vanished fortress continue to fascinate us? It matters because its story is a powerful lesson in the human scale of history. The legacy of the fortress is also written into the very fabric of faith. The Via Dolorosa, walked by millions of pilgrims, begins in the shadow of where Antonia once stood. The saga of Antonia is a timeless story about the relationship between power and place. It shows architecture used as a weapon and how a single building can dominate a city's psychological landscape. The struggle for control was a struggle for control of Jerusalem itself. The fortress may be gone, reduced to rubble and buried by 2,000 years of history. But its shadow endures. The stone sentinel is gone, but its watch never truly ended.